Uh-oh. We don't hear no sound.
This is The Righteous View with your hosts, Alia Byers, Deborah Hoskins, and Christina McCormick.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to The Righteous View. Woo, technology is wonderful when it works.
Right.
Absolutely.
Welcome, everyone. We know it's been a little while, but we just want to welcome you to our podcast this evening. I want to first introduce you to my co-hosts, Deborah Hoskins and Christina McCormick. Woo! And I don't have my little clapping. I want to say welcome to the Righteous View, everyone. As I said, I am Avia Byers. Our weekly podcast, or our podcast, let's say, will focus on topics regarding women of all ages. Our mission is to foster righteous, open dialogue on topics that have been taboo or considered taboo within our social communities. We want to cultivate open and healthy discussions between mothers and daughters, husbands and wives, mature women and young women. Our goal is to educate and provide factual information to these demographics concerning our biological, psychological, and spiritual existence. So I've already introduced my beautiful co host, and we're going to continue on from there.
All right. All right. Good evening. Good evening. It's been a minute, but we're
Yeah.
happy to be here and glad that you're here and joining us. We want to encourage you to tune in on Thursday evenings when we're on Thursday evenings. And we apologize, as has been said, we had some technical situations going on. So normally on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I believe 10 o'clock um, GMA time. And that's right here for thought-provoking topics that will hopefully stimulate conversations that are sometimes hard or uncomfortable.
I'm supposed to be live on Facebook, YouTube. If we not, please put it in the chat. If we not live on there, if you miss a podcast, you can view it at past podcasts on our YouTube channel at The Righteous View and Hebraic Awakening. If you enjoy the topics and the discussions have helped you in any way, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification button. I promise, we're going to get better. It's just been hot girl summer, and we've been hot girling all summer.
Absolutely. We have been, but we have something exciting. So, sisters, we are excited about our upcoming webinar that we have scheduled for Sunday, August the 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're excited about bringing this topic and to the forefront, and we've really been diligently working on bringing this webinar. So we were going to do a full-fledged women's conference and decided we really want to give it justice, and we really want to do a good work and do our due diligence. So what we've decided is to have a webinar to introduce the conference, live in-person conference that we are planning for 2027. So we're excited about you being here today because we're going to talk about what that's going to look like in this webinar that's going to be on the 23rd at 1 p.m. So the topic of the webinar will be restoring the blueprint, focusing on the ancient identity of woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we will talk also, we will take a historical look at gender interaction and how the nature of gender relationships changed. And it has. And these are the things that we're going to really get into somewhat because, the practical and the emotional. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to open it up just for a minute or two or a little bit to kind of just to give you somewhat of enlightenment of what what we're going to kind of hit on
Mm-hmm.
and kind of bringing out this historical thing as we're in this blueprint,
Mm-hmm.
because it is important, because we see things have changed in such a manner, and it's so, I'll say, misconstrued, truth be told. So we want to bring in the actual origins and deal with these things, because it is important, and because we think us as women should know, and because we're in a time where it's not a good thing. It's sad to say, but it's not a good thing. And many women are hurting, and many, it's a lot of things going on, and we want to bring the true blueprint. And so, in regarding this historical look at the gender interaction, and this relationship has changed, we're going to, kind of hit on, as I mentioned, the practical and emotional. So right now, my sisters are here and kind of throwing this out of, as we just want to discuss a little bit, just to give you insight of what we're, gathering together, that that I know, I truly know that it's going to bring revelation, it's going to bring a lot of things to the forefront in healing, even the most part. All
Mm-hmm.
right, sisters.
Yes. Okay. So, and during the conference, I'll be discussing the impact of these changes and how they affect today's social communities,
Mm-hmm.
healthy versus unhealthy relationships, and the typical harmful reactions to abusive relationships.
There you go.
We're going to dig more into the security part
Yes.
of
Yeah.
this conference a little bit later, but we we are setting up this informational conference because a lot of women I see and we all have seen through posts on social media how
Mm-hmm.
do not understand what is abuse. Now, I
Correct.
know that we think women understand abuse, but women, from what we can see on how women are posting, what
Mm-hmm.
women agree to, how
Mm-hmm.
they don't even know that they are sitting in abusive communities. And
Mm-hmm.
abuse is not always hitting.
Right.
Right? Abuse is how you are treated, how you are talked to, what you are allowed and not allowed to do. So it's very harmful because now, back then, as we hear the women say, well, we don't have the women, the elders to teach. Well, back then we used to be able to call a spade a spade. If
Correct.
you know the old school sayings, and you see how I'm saying old school stuff, and it's probably going over people's head, right? Because now we have birth people who rely on information coming from TikTok and,
Correct.
and
Facebook,
you know
Instagram. Mm-hmm.
we socially are out of whack with each other as communities because of social media, right? Because of the internet. And so
Mm-hmm.
we don't have the same interactions with our elders, with our
Mm-hmm.
communities like we used to. Everybody is on their phones, everybody
Mm-hmm.
is streaming instead of actually communicating. And we have lost a lot of respect. And I know we talk a lot about how elder women are not they ain't wrapped too tight, right? And they're not emotionally stable. So we know all of that is going on. However, when you have elders that you know have some sense
Mm-hmm.
and you can hear wisdom, but you just don't like it, that's the problem. Because I know growing up, you know, you had the mothers. So I know all of us grew up old school where mothers was in the church, mothers I'm talking about motherboard, mothers that had control
Mm-hmm.
and command inside
Mm-hmm.
of spiritual communities. So that talk about that and how we had to submit to those
Mm-hmm.
mothers and listen to them because they would run the show.
Right.
Seriously. Besides
Right.
the pastors, that motherboard, the mothers in that spiritual
Right.
community will
Mm-hmm.
run the show. And you will have to listen, even if you didn't like it. Right?
Even
Even if you
didn't like.
didn't like it and when it came to me, you know, I was sat down because I had a baby out of wedlock. Oh no, you're not getting up in the choir. Now I know,
Correct.
you
And
have
that was a real
a lot.
thing.
It was real, and I know we go back and forth with whether that is right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
However, however, it was structure in order that we do not see happening in any community right now, whether it's spiritual, whatever, anything goes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in the schools, everywhere. So
Right.
we really want to give this information, okay, conference to really put a light and shine a light on the historical origins to get
Right.
the women to understand where this thinking, patriarchy, misogyny comes from first. So we need to
Right.
put information out. So by the time you get to the conference in
Absolutely.
2027, where
Right.
there's actual tangible
Correct.
things going on to help you,
Yes. Resources. Mm-hmm.
that's why we're taking
Resources.
time because we are tired of conferences that just talk.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
want to give you tangible help. And we're going to
Absolutely.
talk about that. I'm going to let Rabbits go. And we'll talk about why we're taking our time, why we're setting it up, because we don't want to move real fast. Because by the time 2027 comes,
Yeah.
it's going to be right. It's
Yeah.
going to be
You, you
Exactly.
know, we are there has been um a very strong pull from the Holy Spirit on all the three of us concerning what we're seeing, what we're experiencing in our assemblies, what we're experiencing and seeing from our sisterhoods throughout not just the Hebrew community, but out throughout Christianity, throughout our places of faith, Muslim. We are seeing our places that are supposed to be safe
Safe.
places
Nah.
not being safe,
that's right.
and that our counterpart, our men, are sometimes being under a delusion of this authoritative uh, hierarchy that is being looked upon as I have to control you, woman, with the weight and the authority that I would control a nation that I just captured. And that's not what Father Yah intended. And as we're, matriculating through this entire walk, through when we started the righteous view, the thought for all three of us was that we want to have a safe place for women to be able to learn and women to be able to talk, women to be able to say, hey, why is my body feeling like this? What is going on? I don't understand why this is happening or why that is happening. That they will be able to have a place where they can come and they can speak to the older women who have been through that journey that they are making, women who are mensing or pregnant, saying, why am I feeling like this right now? And I
Right.
didn't feel like this with my first pregnancy or with my second pregnancy. Why is this? So we wanted to have a safe place for our sisters to be able to come and talk. We wanted to be able as elder women be able to say, hey, that's not isolated. Let's talk about it. And I can give you some suggestions on what I did or what my elder sister did or whatever the case is. We wanted to have that safe place. But as we began to have a safer place, we started then getting information
That's right.
from you, our viewers,
Hmm.
saying, hey, I don't feel safe. I'm in a community, I'm in a ministry. Is this proper? Is that proper? I mean, what does the Torah, what does the Bible really say about this? I don't understand why. Does God really want me to live like this? Does Yahweh really feel like right now? I don't feel like I'm worth anything.
Or I
Um,
belong.
so we, exactly. So we decided, all of us, that we should have a sit down, a conference. And truly, when I came over from Ghana, we were excited because we had decided we were going to have a full-fledged conference with all everything, with speakers and resources, and where women could come, and we would charge a minimal amount, so women, it wouldn't be a financial burden, that we could even have finances to be able to sponsor women that may want to come and not able to afford it, because y'all, not all women, their husband give them access to
Right.
finances.
Right.
And
Right.
you know
That's,
what, some women will sit and say, what in the world kind of mess? But that's some women's life,
that's
Right.
right.
that the only finances they get or have is from their husband. And their husband, if he says, no, you can't go to no conference, we got to feed you.
Right.
They're just there, stuck in a place. So we wanted to really sit down and do that. So after we came together, we realized, as we were talking with our support group of our four daughters, that we came together, that are real awesome. And praise Father Yah for them, that they came in and they're younger than we are. So
Yes.
they have a different viewpoint, and they know and they see from a different perspective. So that's the beauty of older women, younger women, and having that camaraderie and that the collaboration. So we did come together, collaborate, went through a couple of different some sessions, and decided this is too much to do in a short period of time. 2 months is not enough time. So what we decided was that we were going to have a webinar. We're going to have a conference where women can come on, we can discuss, go over what we're going to really go in depth. Not saying we're not going to go in depth in this webinar, but what it's going to allow us to do is to open the door to what has truly happened. And I think once we get, I would say, ladies, Pass this information out to everyone
Please do.
you know. I'm
Please.
talking about this goes, it is not it's not religious bias. This goes to every nationality throughout the world, in faith-based communities, in workplace communities, in home communities. It
Yes.
is throughout our living on this earth, in this world, that these issues and problems of subjugation of women, that's happening. It's happening all over the world, y'all. So we don't care what your faith base is. We really don't care. We want you to come, because we are going to come from areas, I'm telling you, we are going to come from areas that's going to help you to understand that this is a world situation. This
Right.
is a world construct that has happened, and that it has infiltrated our faith communities. And it has done so in a way that I don't believe that the Most High is happy or approves of. This is a time where I believe it's the time now for us to step up and give truth and understanding to our people. And I'm going to tell y'all, our husbands back us
Yeah.
100%. And if Elder David was here, he'd be backing us too.
Right.
There are so many of our brethren that don't know that they have been living, even themselves, under a construct that
Mhm.
has emasculated them as the head of their household. And
Yep.
we're going to get into all of that.
Yeah. That's really good. And I know questions because I love us, but I know this is why y'all charging a fee? As she stated, and we're gonna break this up so we can put it out as advertisement. As she stated, we want to bring tangible resources, and part of the tangible resources is to charge a small fee for the conferences, because we are going to give out tangible resources, money. And let me tell you something, as a woman who had to utilize a safe house twice,
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I had a community where I could get funds, because the shelter can only do so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I had, a few $100s to help me, because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you're running with the clothes on your back. You don't have time to pack a suitcase all of the time to get to a
Right.
safe space. And sometimes you need tangible resources to
Mm-hmm.
help you. And I shared this story. I've shared it once. I really don't share it a lot because it's not triggering, but it may be triggering to some, right? So when I was in the safe house, I didn't have a whole lot of clothes. I was very poor. As a matter of fact, P-O, without the O-R. And in the
Oh.
same house, they teach you, you got to get up, you're going to get a job, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't have any clothes. Well, some women came and donated clothes. And y'all know I'm small, and I was really tiny then. But
Mm-hmm.
that beautiful turquoise suit. It was so beautiful and it fit me to a T. And I had some heels, and I went to that interview and went downtown Chicago to the interview and got compliments. I had pressed out my hair, just trying to make myself look and feel good,
Mm-hmm.
and got compliments. Now, that really helped to boost my confidence. Why am I bringing that up? Because we have to be the solution sometimes to our own problems. Of course, we
Problem.
look
Right.
to the Most
Absolutely.
High, but He gives us, all right, autonomy to be able, and He uses people in the earth to be able to give the answer. And so, as a community, we can come together, give clothes, give donations, give your resources, your time, your knowledge to help. Again, we're going to have prayerfully working with therapists. We're going to have a safe violent against violent why I can't talk.
All right. Take your
A
time. Take
hotline for
Oh,
violent domesticative stuff happening. Child, my brain menopause. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. A hotline for that child. And grants, I don't know what we're going to call it, but
Lord.
tangible resources to give to
Resources.
women that
Mhm.
are in emergency
Mhm.
situations
Situations.
that need financial assistance.
Mhm.
Okay, we're going to have resources again for therapists, counselors, you know just
Mhm.
resources that you can use, and that takes
Mhm.
time to build up and to get everything together legally, and to get sponsorships and hopefully donations from surrounding people. So we are like making this a real tangible thing, right? And we don't want to be ghetto and janky. We want to be very professional and legal. All right. When we are
exactly. Exactly.
accepting donations because we have the proper paperwork. Y'all know what I'm.
Mhm.
There's a lot of ministries rolling around out here right now that's accepting donations and accepting money and are not legal. All right. And I know that
Mhm.
all the time, but I want to make sure that we are doing it from a very legal standpoint, because what we're doing is very rebellious, as Rabbit says. This is like a rebellion against the
Look like rebellion.
It is open rebellion, and people can mistake it as us being feminists, us going against the Most High, and we know we are not. What we are going against is this world construct, as she said, that has crept in, and
Absolutely.
we want to make sure it's secure. So when you register, we found out that, and I made it this way, that you have to have your email has to match you with your Zoom. So you're gonna have to
Mhm.
have Zoom. If you do not have Zoom, it's free. So you can sign up for Zoom and have the email and everything. Everything got to match because it's for
Mhm.
security purposes.
Security.
We don't want every pervert sitting in there
Correct.
listening and
Correct.
gathering information and trying to spy out who is in there. So
Correct.
it's just a form of security, right? So you're
Mhm.
going to have a real email address and match your Zoom, and so that we can keep up with you after the conference to remind you of what's
Correct.
happening, give you updates as we get to 2027. So I wanted to make sure, because when people register, I know they're going to be like, dang, we got it. Yes, you got to go through a little bit. You got to have email, you got to have Zoom, right? And you have to pay a fee, and it is all to keep us safe, and paying a fee will keep the wrong people out too.
Absolutely. And that's really what we want. We don't want that
Right.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
Remember, everybody, we want it to be a safe place. Safety is first. That's what we're considering. Because we understand the level that this um misogynistic, patriarchal construct, what it has done. I don't think we realize the
The impact.
severity of
Mhm.
the
Very.
situation. I had a conversation with a young lady who is a mentee of mine. I love her. She was going through a PhD program at the university where I was, and we were having a conversation, and she said she was talking to a friend of hers who had just come back from a date, and she said that her friend was just kind of upset. She started telling her about the situation and the date and what had transpired, and how she ended up having sexual intercourse with this young man, but she felt so bad because she didn't want to. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't have meant for. She said, I didn't want to. But then, I mean, I guess I kind of just gave in, and and as she was talking to her, her friend is looking at her like, you were just raped.
Right.
She didn't even realize that in the legal system of the United States, coercion is one of the legal terms that a woman can claim rape of that a man has raped her through coercion. She didn't want to, but either he was in a position to affect her life in
Right.
some way, or he did something that caused her to say, uh, I better go ahead and say yes to this because it'll be better if I just allow him to do it than for me to struggle and I
Right.
fight it and then it becomes violent.
Yep.
These are things when a young lady doesn't even realize that she has been a victim of rape.
Mm-hmm.
That's all under this construct
Yep.
of um, uh, just misogynistic, patriarchal construct. And we are not. Let me say for the record, we are not trying to be feminists. I was going and having this whole talk with Father Yah this morning, early this morning in prayer. And I said, Father, I don't want for us to look like we are trying to embark on some feminist movement. That is
Right.
not what this is about.
Right.
What this is about um, bringing to light the historical facts on how our society turned out, the way that it has, where a young woman would be coerced into having a relationship with a man that she did never wanted to have a relationship with. How a woman will stay in an abusive relationship or marriage because she feels, and the people who are around her are saying he's a good man. But he's a good man. But he's a good man. How did we get there to this place? So that's what we want to bring to light. We are not trying to be feminists. Look, I love when a man opens the door. My husband
Right.
is a complete gentleman. I love when he opens the car door for me. I love when we go in the store and he grabs all of the bags.
That's
I'll say,
right.
well, I can take one, you know, give me the heaviest one and it'll be the lightest one. He has that love for me that is a set apart and special, and I love that. I love when I get ready to walk into a door and a gentleman runs up and grabs the door and
That's so
opens it for me. I don't have a problem with that. But when we talk about there being an foundation that has been laid where men feel like they are more important, therefore you take a back seat, and
right.
now we have a caste system where women are subjugated to this area here, and you're not going to move any further than that
Right.
because I say you don't get to move,
Right.
or you're going to give me what I want because I say you're going to give me what I want. And it's okay
Yeah.
because you're my husband, because you're my boyfriend, because you're my mate, whatever the situation, the relationship is. We
Mhm.
definitely we just want to bring clarity to that.
Right.
And what it looks like, and that knowing that we might not always know. what that looks like as women
Yeah. And
and as men.
and that's me too. They don't.
Absolutely.
That's
They don't.
true. That's
Absolutely.
true.
They under the delusion. And I'm sure as we have more conferences, we can, because there's so much that we will have to hit. I even seen something, younger women are having, and I know we ain't gonna be able to hit this topic. I don't know. We have to see. But I've seen this topic on social media in regards to sex and
Hmm.
even in marriage. And the woman was saying, hey, I just don't think our bodies was made to have sex every single day. That as
Interesting.
women go through certain things, whether it's physically or whether it's emotionally, and
Mm,
how men are taught not to take that into consideration. And
right.
so basically, you use the Bible to wield that control
Correct.
over your wife's body because, as per usual, we read scriptures out of context.
Correct.
Just so you read it in the English without any context, any Hebraic understanding, right?
Correct.
Any background knowledge. You just read it and you quote it. And I'm
There
like,
you go.
it's so dangerous to us as women because it's like the Most High didn't think about a woman's body. He the one made it. Hormones, before and after ovulation, before and after your menstruation, all of the things that we have to go through.
Absolutely.
And so, sex is a big topic because when a woman is made to have sex, even when she just doesn't feel like it, you
Right.
are obligated by what men say because they have interpreted the scripture to fit their narrative.
Their narrative.
If
And
you
that
don't give
is
it to me, I'll get it somewhere else
and
scenario.
yes. And then what goes on in a woman's mind? Oh gosh, I don't want, oh, I'm doing wrong to my husband. I don't want, not even thinking that he has an obligation to you as your husband to have self
Right.
control.
Yeah.
He is obligated to you if he stood up and said to you and to you alone, will I put my I betroth myself or whatever it says.
Right.
To you and you alone. I will be to you and you alone. So where is the self-control? And I can probably guarantee if the tide were flipped or if the script were flipped, he wouldn't stay there with that woman who would say to him, oh, you don't want to do this for me? Oh, you don't want to buy me a new car? I'm going to go out
Right.
and find a man who's going to buy me a new car. Now, how would that feel?
Right. Right.
Oh, you can't put me in a house right now? Oh, I married you. You're supposed to put me in a house. And I'm not saying that there's not women that do that. I'm not saying or don't do that. I'm what I'm saying is it's the same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going to manipulate. It's a manipulative spirit, and that's part of that narcissistic spirit. And as we said before, misogyny does not just inhabit. It's not gender
It's
No.
specific.
not gender. It's not gender. And just even taking it to another area in the workforce, in ministries,
Absolutely,
interaction, and when women
absolutely
feel like they're not safe or they're not recognized or
correct,
that they have to question their calling. And
Yes.
correct.
and this is the thing, in the workforce, many who are working and manipulate, how it's a lot of things that transpire in the workforce. Women
Yes.
are being treated, it's really a terrible situation because not
Absolutely,
only just not even talking about pay, but just in treatment,
Mm-hmm.
this misogynistic or it just in general this way of feeling superior, or
mm,
a woman, this is what you do. And so this is why we want to bring in the blueprint, because
correct.
there's a misconception And there's a
Absolutely.
misunderstanding, and
Absolutely.
it's not biblically based.
Mm-mm.
Then we talked about patriarchy and
Mhm.
thinking it's a lot that has to be brought out. That
Yeah.
that many, I believe, not only because, as we talked about, practical and emotional, because a lot of things are emotional, and it's
Absolutely.
Yes.
dealing with situations where you just feel, we're going with that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be thrown out. What is the actual,
Right.
what is the origin,
Yeah.
and what each one, particularly because, one thing I know about our Father, many want to put everything in a box, and He's
Mm-hmm.
not in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he will do, we know that we know that, certain laws or whatever, but we see a thing that's going on, that's dealing with a lot with emotions, and it's not practical. It's not
Absolutely.
Yeah.
what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Absolutely.
And now you have women who are in the ministries who, know their calling and know what the Most High, but one going to tell them, shut up and sit down, or even be spoken to like they're a child and they
Right.
don't know no better. Come
Right.
on now.
Right.
And
Right.
not even a child should even be treated as some women are being treated
Yes.
Absolutely.
in the workforce. And so
Absolutely.
these things are it's it's time out for all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe some men follow through because of what they were taught,
What
and
taught?
what they have heard or what they have seen, and they themselves don't even know. So
Right.
they need to be educated and
Absolutely.
need to understand the origins, where they
Absolutely.
can understand, what what I've been taught and what I have heard is wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
taking that place of making things right, because this is why I believe the Holy Spirit is really impressed upon us, because things are so out of order.
So
Yeah.
out of order.
Order has to be reestablished. The
Absolutely.
blueprint has to be brought back into
Absolutely.
proper
Absolutely.
perspective, where
Absolutely.
we can live together.
Mhm.
Because even if we look at the commandment in general, he says, love the Most High with all our heart, soul, and mind. And we are to love our neighbors as ourselves.
Ourself.
This is what love is. Love is what love do, and do it in the proper perspective.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Being committed to doing it the right way.
Correct. Absolutely. And if you even come from a biblical standpoint, I love to use the story of Yehuda or Judah, of the fourth eldest son of Jacob, and how he mismarried. He married a woman of Canaanite origin, which was not to be done in Israel because they were told not to intermarry because of the bloodline. So we see later in years, later on down the line, that's because our Messiah, Jesus or Yeshua, our Messiah, was going to come through that bloodline of Judah, Yehuda. That bloodline cannot be tainted or not be disturbed. But what Judah had done in marrying the Canaanite woman, he brought forth Canaanite what? Sons, therefore tainting and diluting and watering down the bloodline of the Messiah. So what happens? Father Yah then uses this little woman who was his daughter-in-law, who said, okay, so my first husband died. You gave me the second son, but now you're not going to give me the third one, because now you're looking at it like, not looking at yourself like you did anything wrong, because Judah knew he was not supposed to marry of the Canaanite bloodline. So he never took on the responsibility or ownership for what he did, but he put it on her and said, she's cursed because two of my sons died.
Right. Yep.
So through many times, Father Yah, and that story plays out where because of Tamar, she restores the bloodline of the Messiah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, coming through the bloodline of the kings of
Yes.
Judah, the king of kings. He is then called the lion of the tribe of Judah. This is what this little lady restored back into place, the
Yes.
bloodline, so Mashiach could come down through a clear and clean and pure bloodline. So
Mhm.
Father Yahweh has used multiple, that's one instance,
Right. Right.
multiple times. He has used a woman to straighten things out
Mm.
multiple times.
All the
He's
time.
used things, women, to straighten stuff out. So if it's up to us to straighten this out and get this to a place where our sisters have clarity, our brothers have clarity, then we can all live together in that unity that
Mm.
Father Yahweh is calling us, the family, the human family, to live in that unity. Because one bottom line is, he said at the bottom line, he said every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. So no matter where, and Mashiach said, there are sheep that I have that are not of this fold, they must be brought to. There is a human family, a nation unto the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that must be brought forth. And if it takes us to be able to enlighten and give information concerning what Father Yahweh is trying to do in this day and time, right now,
Yes.
if we have to be the catalyst, so be it. But
Yep.
information, we I'm tired of seeing on multiple levels where the anointing of the Most High is being subjugated and being brought to a place and nullified and cut off and sat down and shut up because somebody has decided that they are in a position of supreme oppressive
Right.
authority. Father Yahweh never meant for authority over his daughters to be oppressive,
Come on.
depressive, and subjugative as it is to women. And our brothers don't always know because they are following the lead of other people, mentors who they trust,
Mm.
people who they think. We have whole conferences and whole faith-based spiritual groups that are coming together and deciding, we don't care that you're anointed, you're a woman, sit down.
Mhm.
It's happening in our day and time right now.
That's right.
Right now,
That's right.
that they're saying, I don't care that you're anointed. And you know what? I'm going to say you're not anointed.
Mhm.
Sit down. We've got to we this is a human family. This is a kingdom issue,
Yeah.
that when you have three quarters of the kingdom that's saying, I don't feel safe, I'm hurt, I feel oppressed, I feel like I can't walk in the anointing that I've been called to. And then the other part is saying, sit down and shut up. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with it.
So we're going to bring in all these things, and we're going to bring in, as we said, the blueprints, the origins, and we're going to get to the bottom to a lot of things,
Absolutely.
that they're able to, as we go through this, have this upcoming webinar, and
Yes.
that will bring insight and prepare us for the upcoming conference, as Tina and Christina and Avia has mentioned, on next year, and having the resources and things to accommodate,
Yeah.
to help. It's not just information when we come together next year, but there'll be resources. There'll
Yes.
be because it's about bringing healing, and
Hmm.
just all the talk and no action. We want to be there, and just as Christina gave her own, intimate, being transparent with her, her even prior situations. And that's why it's such a passion to her and to all of us. And because we love our sisterhood, we love the brethren, not even just the sisters, we love our
Right.
brothers,
Right.
Absolutely.
and this is what's important. It's the love that we have. We
Absolutely.
want that love to be really, really being going forth, because it
Hmm.
is important. And true love is being committed, and
Right.
we're committed, because even love in itself, people, oh, I love, and really don't even have the true understanding, because the Most High is love, and he
Absolutely.
loves us, and he
Mhm.
wants us to live an abundant life, live whole. He wants to heal the whole man, and
Yeah.
that's in all of us. So
Hmm.
we love the sisterhood, and we see the cry, we
Right.
see, the things that's going on, and the ignorance, because most of it is ignorance.
Yeah.
Ignorance. Absolutely.
And we need clarity, we
Absolutely.
need healing, we
Mhm.
need deliverance, we need help, and
Yes.
we're here to help in the best way that we can,
Right.
through what the resources that we can bring forth to the
Hmm.
forefront. And
Yeah.
that's why we're not just having, looking to have a conference as, conference in general, but we want a conference where help is there,
Absolutely.
resources is there,
Absolutely.
whatever is needed that we're able to bring to the forefront, it's there. So
Absolutely.
even as we're asking for things, and even as the small amount that's asked for, even the webinar, because we want to know you're serious.
Hmm.
Right.
Because sometimes if something is
Correct.
just free, people don't take it serious.
That's
But
true.
when you
Right.
have to put something there, you're going to take some kind of initiative.
Correct.
And
Mhm.
even if you feel like you're hopeless, I want you to know that there's help for the hopeless. We serve a father that has more than enough. He's more than enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I believe it's through his roar, it's through this that he's making, and we're going to see, and I believe it's going to be powerful, because it's the Most High that's in it. This is
Yes.
Right.
not us. This is just what we want to do. But we feel the urgency through
Mhm.
his Ruach, through his Holy Spirit, of this. This is the time, and this is the season, and it must be done. Just as Avia was talking in regards of as she brought in about Tamar, Yah will use whom he will use, and we
Absolutely.
just, all of us, we just want to be the vessels that he
Mhm.
used. And whether it's through experience, I mean, we've all experienced some form or fashion of why we have this passion as well.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because it's not just because of what we heard, but even our own experiences,
Absolutely.
bringing it to the forefront. So this
Absolutely.
is what we're looking for. We want you to register, to be there, to register into this webinar, the conference webinar, to bring the information and to prepare you, that you prepare yourself for the upcoming conference on next year. I think
Yes.
we need to kind of bring this in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I leave it open.
Yeah, and we're gonna have 3 prizes, right? 3 giveaways to 3 different
Yes.
women. I think it's a manicure, pedicure, and one free mental wellness coaching
Yeah.
session. So
Mm-hmm.
register. I guess we're just gonna pull a name out of a hat or something.
It's
That's for
I believe it's the first
the
the
first
first
10
10.
registered.
The
So
first 10
Oh,
the
register,
earlier you
their names
register,
will
you
go
will be
in.
a part of this
Yes.
okay,
giveaway.
so the first
Correct.
10 names. So come on and register because the first 10 women you'll enter in, and three of you will be able to uh
Yeah.
win the giveaway. And that's
Manicure,
just
pedicure, or
yeah,
a
because that's just show our love, self-care. And y'all know if you
yeah.
follow any of my content, I talk about self-care. And that's just
Mhm.
a little bit, but self-care is really up here.
Yeah.
And we can't have true healing until we put stuff in motion. And that
Yeah.
goes for so when you register and you are, thinking about attending, please share it because as we said, sometimes it takes a woman and
That's
many
right.
women to stand up in these congregations, church, whatever, wherever you go
Hmm.
in your communities and say, hey, we got to pass this information along because we all are coming together to do something. We're just doing what we can. But by the time we get to that conference, it is
Absolutely.
going to be a collective thing. So we want you to really like help us to get the word out, not for us, but for the women, for the sisterhood, so we can get
Hallelujah.
information out. And so by 2027, women from all walks of life, y'all hear me?
Yes.
Not just give this to your religious friends, because by the
Mm-mm.
time we get to the in-person conference, it's not religious. We
Right.
want to help all women, not just
Absolutely.
religious women, because
Absolutely.
sometimes
Absolutely.
we don't hear that. Oh, this a Hebrew. No, it ain't no Hebrew nothing. Please don't say that. Please don't tell
Yeah.
nobody that it's a
No,
Hebrew
it
women's
no.
conference because
Mm-mm.
it is not.
It is.
It is a woman's conference that we are going from history, how this
Absolutely.
began, and how
Absolutely.
it infiltrated into our religious settings. It sure did.
Absolutely.
Had nothing to do with biblical
Biblical
or
fact.
kingdom.
That's right.
It had everything to do
That's
with
right.
worldly standards. Okay,
That
so
hmm
what you say? Thank you for my gifts. I'm reading the comments.
yes, yes. See, claim it. Claim that gift.
Yes. So August 23rd,
August
1
23rd,
p.m. Eastern
1
Standard Time. We will
Mm-hmm.
have the information session, right? And then we'll have questions and answers,
Yeah.
rabbits.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, question and answers. So, even though we're not going all day, we are given a good amount of time, not to
Yeah.
tell your story, but to
Won't be
ask questions.
questions.
I love
Correct.
us, but sometimes we want to tell our story and share our testimony.
That's
But
because
this is really an information session.
yes.
Ask us about the conference, ask us, questions. And even if we cannot get to that question, we have the righteous view and we can address questions on the righteous view and give you a well thought out answer if we cannot
Absolutely.
address it all at the conference. So please think of your questions, write them down and come to the conference with those questions ready.
Absolutely.
We are excited for it. So y'all please pass the information on.
Yes.
And I guess are we wrapping it up?
Yes. I guess we are wrapping it up. So we
Okay.
um as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking we want to thank everyone who has been tuning in. Those of you all who have been faithful viewers and just taking this journey with us. As you know, we started out on our quest with adolescence and
Yeah.
going through that, and now we are up to this stage, and we're excited about what it's going to continue to look like. But as we said, we want this to be a safe space. We want it to be where women will come and feel like they received something, and not just a bunch of words or a bunch of chatter, but that they receive something that they can take back and be able to have these conversations with their assembly leaders, or even if need be, their husbands or their work, their supervisors, or whoever, whatever area, or you're having to have these conversations in. We are looking forward to those kinds of results, that dialogue
Mhm.
begins, and that good dialogue begins, where we can come to solutions.
All righty. Well, our email again is the righteousview01@gmail.com. Please send in topics, okay, that you feel will be beneficial. If you have a degree or special training, especially for the upcoming conference in 2027, we
Mm-hmm.
need your help. All right. We need your help because I'm sure we're gonna have time for those that need maybe a 10-minute, clarity talk with a counselor. So we
Yes,
we need expertise. So if you have a degree or special
absolutely.
training in
Please.
a specific area related to women's health and would like to be a special guest, please email your bio and we will review it and reply as soon as we can.
Yes. We will continue to have this discussion and other discussions, but without with panels and different ones who we have invited and so forth on the podcast. But as we tonight talk mainly in regards to the upcoming webinar,
Mm-hmm.
we hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed the podcast so thus far, please tune in and tell a friend. And please tell a friend and tell everyone about the upcoming webinar and register and join, because we're excited about this and we feel and we believe that it's going to help, immensely. If you have put a comment in the chat that we didn't address, please email us and we'll reply as soon as we can. Thank you again. This truly, we love you. We love you. Truly, we love you. Okay.
Yes, we do. So we want to thank you all again. Got to our viewers, and for tuning in. We're excited about this webinar coming up. Remember, August the 23rd. You want to go ahead and go out there and register. Get that registration in. As we said, the first 10 are going to be in line with getting a gift. We're excited about being able to do that, but most excited about getting this information that we have to you. So we want to say good evening, everyone, from the Righteous View. Have a great rest of your week, and we love you. Take care.